Hello class, I'm doing this tutorial video for the week 1 lab assignment. So each week I will do a tutorial video to help you out to understand the lab and what you'll be doing. And so to get to the lab video, or to get to the lab, first of all, you would go on the home page, you can click on week 1, or you can go to assignments. But we're going to go through week 1 because this is our first week of class. And so when you click on it, you will go right to week 1, and there are some information here to help you. This will give you the link to the lab simulation, and the lab assignment itself is another link to the lab simulation. So however you get to it will be perfect. So if we click on this, you will actually, because you're a student, you will actually start the assignment. Since I'm the professor, I have a preview button so that I will go through it. If you look through the instructions, it says for this lab, you will be using simulations that are provided by PhET Interaction Simulations. You have a one attempt to this lab report. There's no time limit, and be sure to review all associated material with the lab report before completing it. You may access the lab report, work on the questions, exit, and return later to keep working. Okay, remember to submit the lab report when you are finished. So the lab report can be reviewed following the due date, usually Sunday, and it's actually 11:59. I do need to update that. All right. So just to let you know, just to reiterate what the instructions say, if you start this lab, say on Monday when class week 1 opens, or whenever week 1 opens, if you start it that day and say you don't get through all these questions, okay, because it's quite a few questions, as you can see. There are, let's see when we get to the end. I think it's 21, 22. So it's 22 questions. Say you don't get to all 22 in the first day. Just make sure you don't submit until you completed everything. Because it will, just like you saw here, how it says quiz saved, it will keep saving your answers. So you can come back and work on this throughout the week, just as long as you submit it when you have completed it. Okay. And so as you look through the questions, we'll go right back up to the top. But as you look through the questions, you will see the link here to the simulation. So I suggest right-clicking on the link. That way you can have the simulation open as well as your questions open so you can go back and forth. All right, so you're going to want to hit play here. And this PhET simulation will come up. If it does not load on your computer, okay, let me know because it should load. All right, so this first one, if we're looking for the people, okay, so we're gonna click on this one. This is the one we're looking at, and you want to open the NetForce and slide, sorry, NetForce simulation and slide one of each of the figures so that you have a configuration that looks like this. Study the image, and based on what you have learned in this week's material, what do you predict will happen when you hit go? Okay, and so let's say we pick one person. I think we're on that first knot, and so then we're going to pick the same size person on this next knot. Okay, so you want to predict what's going to happen before you hit go. All right, so this first one I'll do with you. Okay, so you hit go and you look at it, nothing happened. Okay. And so you can stop. You can also add the sum of the forces, the values, and the speed. That way you'll know what you're working with. So we're starting off with 100 newtons on both sides. And if we're pulling with 100 newtons on both sides, you see your sum of the forces will be zero. Your speed is zero. And your forces kind of cancel each other out. All right. So just to, if you want to go back to the original, but just to show you something different, okay? So now we're working with fewer newtons, okay? 50 newtons on this side, 100 newtons on this side. So if you hit go, you see that there's a sum of the forces of 50 newtons moving to the left, and it's moving at a certain speed. Okay. And so just to show you that there is a difference depending upon how much force is being added. Okay. So that you're going to look at question number one, number two, number three have that same picture. So when we get to number four, it's a difference. Okay. So we are going to actually go to the one that looks like that. Okay, so you have this look, all right? And so you want to mimic that picture, okay? So that is your goal for this second part. And so you can have all of these things checked so you can see it, but you want to set up your simulation so it's similar to this, okay? And so you will do that for the next questions, okay? And then you're just adding people and trash cans and so forth, okay? So you see all that that is available to you in that bar. And then you're just answering questions based on that setup, okay? All right, so that one's still working with that same picture, okay? And so play around with this if you have questions, okay, as you're going through this lab, okay? So you want to answer all the questions. Make sure that if you have questions that you send me an email and let me know before you submit the lab, okay? So in other words, if you think you might have a question, make sure that you don't wait till Sunday night to submit this because I don't answer emails on Sunday evening. So make sure that you answer your questions or have your questions answered Saturday so that you're able to turn in the assignment. But if you have any questions as you're going through and doing the lab, please reach out to me. Have a great day. Bye bye.